it's time for a January wrap-up. I think I did pretty well this month. I read 14 books. Some of them were, I think one or two were rereads, and most of them were pretty thin. But yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Real quick, I want to show you, I bought two more books. I don't know why. I went to a new used bookstore that we have that just recently opened, and there I bought Wake by Lisa McMann. I've been wanting to read this for so long, I gasped out loud when I saw it. I literally almost died. I've been looking for this forever. So I got that. And then I went to Barnes & Noble and I totally broke one of my biggest rules. I bought Where She Went by Gail Forman. The sequel to If I Stay is the duology. I haven't read the first one, so whatever persuaded me to do this, I think what it is that I'm going to marathon the duology. I'm going to start the first one when I finish filming this video. And then I have AR this semester for my pre-AP English class, so these are both AR and they're within my good range, and if you don't know what AR is, it's just like a reading testing kind of thing, but I'm super excited to get to these, so reading that soon. Okay, now on to the wrap-up. The first book I read this month was Unhinged by A.G. Howard, and this is book 2 in the Splintered trilogy. It's an Alice in Wonderland retelling, continuation kind of thing. Very, very, very fun, a dark, twisted magic. It's just a very fun ride. I'm about halfway through the third one, which came out on the 6th of January, and I was gonna read it. I went right after school to get it because I was so excited. I got about halfway through and it was just putting me in a slump, and I think it's because I knew it was the end of a beloved trilogy and I was really depressed, so I was like, I can't finish this. So that has been put on hold until further notice. So I highly recommend this series, though. Even if you don't like Alice in Wonderland, it's an amazing series. The next book I read this month was Love and Other Perishable Items by Laura Buzo. I gave Unhinged 5 stars, I think. This book I gave 3 stars. I enjoyed it, but not that much. It was okay. I liked the premise, but there was so much cursing. The profanity in this book was unbelievable. I'm ashamed to even own it. Very, very disappointed. Now, yes, I admit there are tons of other books I've read that have so much more profanity than this, but those, I do not excuse profanity in any way, but those had a reason, like they were in a life or death situation. This is just some girl who has a crush on a guy who's older than her. And the F-bomb was all over this. I'm so ashamed. Pretty decent plot, dropped 2 stars because of the horrible profanity, and it kind of seemed rushed around the end. Pretty good if you don't mind profanity and stupid reasons, so, whatever, 3 stars. The next book I read this month was Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I had to read this for my pre-AP English 1 class, and I loved it. Other than The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, this is my #1 favorite required school reading. I absolutely loved it. So heart-wrenching. Oh my goodness. So sad, but so amazing. Highly recommend this if you have a difficult time getting into classics like me, because I'm not a classics person. I just can't get into them. But I do recommend this one. And the next book that I read this month is Persuaded from This. This put me in such a bad slump because it was so sad, and I just, oh my gosh, it was so bad. So I reread The Giver by Lois Lowry because this is my favorite, one of my top 5 favorite series of all time. So I reread it, and it did kind of get me back into reading. It kind of, jarred me back up to speed. This is one of the most amazing series I've ever read. If you watch my top 5 favorite series list, this quartet is on there. So if you haven't read it yet, do it. The next 2 books I put in a box up in my closet. I didn't feel like getting them down because I'm ridiculously lazy. But I read 2 Diary of a Wimpy Kid books by Jeff Kinney. I read the 4th one, Dog Days, and the 6th one, Cabin Fever. Please don't make fun of me. Please don't make fun of me. Like I said, I was in a slump, and The Giver, it helped me read more to get more towards my wrap-up, but it didn't exactly get me fully out of my slump, so I read 2 Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, so I read those. And then I still was not out of my slump, and I read Dork Diaries. Yeah, by Rachel Renee Russell, book 1. I gave them all 5 out of 5 stars. These are my childhood. They were really funny and quirky and cute, so yeah, there's that. No shame. None. The next book I read this month was Goddess Interrupted by Amy Carter, and this is book 2 in the Goddess Test trilogy. The first one is the Goddess Test, obviously, and then this is a sequel. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I liked it as much as I liked the first one because, and it's not this one wasn't good. I mean, I get 4 out of 5 stars. I really, really liked it. I thought it was a great continuation. But the first one was so good. It blew me out of the water with how good it was. So this one I had ridiculously high expectations for. They were just, my expectations weren't exactly met, but great continuation. I'm really excited to be getting on with the third one. I'm excited to see how it ends. If you like Greek mythology, like a romantic Greek mythology series, I highly recommend the Goddess Test series. So yeah, I have my list right here. The next book I read was, oh my gosh, okay. Before I explain this, I borrowed this from my friend, but I'm gonna go buy it soon because this book, even though it's only January, this is my top book of 2015. It was one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is my top book of 2015. And January is not even over yet. This book made me rethink everything. It's about an autistic kid. He's about 15 years old. He's what is this? Oh, it's a bookmark. He's a genius, a mathematical genius, a literary genius, but he has autism. So he's not very good in social situations. He has autistic problems. He's very specific about certain things. It made me rethink, and it's from his point of view. It's in first person from an autistic person. It really made me rethink people who have disabilities like that and made me appreciate them a lot more. And it was so interesting because it's a mystery within a mystery kind of. It was so meaningful because, like I said, it really made me rethink people with disabilities, and it really made me see how really difficult it is for people with autism and other disabilities to live and how they think. But this was one of the most amazing books I've ever read. 5 out of 5 stars. Would recommend. Would read again. The next book I read this month, this one was just for fun. It wasn't that I was in a slump, but since I read the first book, I was like, let's have fun. So I read the second Dork Diaries. I don't want to talk much about this because it's, you know what? No shame. Loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. If you didn't read the series as a kid, why? It's really good. The next book I read was Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosgol, and this is a graphic novel, my first graphic novel. Not disappointed, 4 out of 5 stars. The color scheme was so beautiful because my favorite color is purple, and my favorite shade of purple is like a dull grayish purple, and that's what this had. It had like oh my goodness. I only dropped it down a star because it took a creepy turn that I did not expect it to take, and I don't really like creepy things, like you guys know. I didn't like how it was kind of sudden too. Like, I guess it was pretty transitioned, the creepy thing. I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I don't know, it just got pretty freaky at the end there. I mean, it was certainly not the scariest thing I've ever read. I'm pretty sure I read this in the dark and it didn't bother me. But it just took a turn I didn't expect and I wasn't sure was right for this story. I don't know. I'm still trying to function how I felt about this because I really am not sure. But I really liked it. It's my first graphic novel, not disappointed at all. I loved it a lot. I loved the characters. I thought they were really quirky. I loved the art. Fantastic story. Definitely you should read this. The next book I read was Taming the Star Runner by S.E. Hinton, and this is awesome. It's awesome. This is my third S.E. Hinton book. My favorite is obviously The Outsiders, and I'm looking up there, and I read Rumblefish too. I think, oh gosh, I'm trying to decide. I don't know if it's my least favorite or not because I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars, definitely. It's about this kid, and he's a writer too. He's an author, so it makes me feel really awesome because I'm a writer and he was really young, 15, 16, and it kind of gives me hope hey, he can write, I can write too. So I loved that. S.E. Hinton is a genius. She paces things so perfectly and her characters are so well developed and well rounded. I just have so much respect for S.E. Hinton. She's one of my favorite authors. She's absolutely fantastic. If you liked any of S.E. Hinton's work or if you just want to get on her train, read this. Very good. 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, the next book I read was The Weight of Water by Sarah Crossman, and this is a book in verse. Really cool because the font is blue and it's just really nice. Was that a spoiler? No, okay. Didn't really like this one. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I don't really know what it was. I'm still trying to pinpoint exactly what I didn't like, but I think what I finally figured it out was there's like 15,000 different plots going on. We have this problem and this problem and this problem and this problem. There's not an actual problem. It's just this chick, she like moved from England and she's like Polish or something like that. I never even knew. I never could figure it out. I don't know if that's just me being ignorant or I don't know. I do not know. But ugh, ugh. I love House and Verse. That's the only thing that it had going for itself. So yeah, so this girl came and, it's about her dealing with some bullying because she can't speak very good English. And, so she's dealing with bullying, and then she's dealing with a crush, and then she's dealing with this mystery, and then she's dealing with this other thing that I can't spoil anything, but not a very big fan. The cover's nice, and I loved the verse, because I love books in verse. But not a favorite. Really not a favorite. So, yeah, I'm really disappointed that I didn't like that because I was super excited about that. I bought it on a whim, though. And the last book I read this month was I Kill the Mockingbird by Paul Okonkwo. And I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. It's a book about promoting books, which I loved. It's about these kids. I don't know how many synopsises I've given. I think I've only given them on like 5 books, but just go look it up. Just go look it up. And it's about these kids who find out that To Kill a Mockingbird is on their reading list for summer, and everybody's disappointed. They're like, gross, I don't like classics. And this one group of kids is like, we need to make people happy about this. We need to pump this up, make it fun. So they start this program called I Kill the Mockingbird where they like trick people into buying it, and they make it seem like really, what am I trying to say? Like, it makes it seem like there's a high demand for it. Like, they hype it up to get people to read it, and it's so cool, because promoting books, I love it, and I would love to get some more people reading. Oh, the people in my school that could read a book or two. But, I really liked it, and there was a whole bunch of references to lots of things, like, To Kill a Mockingbird, there's a few references, and then from some other classics, and, like, one of the books on the reading list was The Giver, and I was like, bless. But this was really cute for somebody who didn't particularly like To Kill a Mockingbird all that much. It was cool to get an insight on it, and it made me appreciate it a little bit more. So those are the books I read this month. Tell me down below if you've read any of these, if you've liked them, if you are planning to read them, and what did you read this month? I want to know what you read this month. Tell me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.